they're trying to make a firestorm out of something that, again, if you look at it, you look at what he said immediately afterward, which Donald Trump didn't say. He immediately afterwards said, no, that's not what I meant. I was talking about the comedian and people that supported that kind of talk. But, you know, Willie, Joe Biden obviously doesn't believe that.
As someone who had a stutter growing up, it's very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves.
It's basically calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude.
Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile so-called jokes.
Much has been made about Biden's comments. The White House is in total damage control. It's whether there was an apostrophe S, his supporters garbage, that it was, you know, or supporters plural as garbage. What is your take and what will be the impact?
Just what the Harris campaign wanted to be talking about is apostrophes. It's quite a gift from the old boss at the end of the campaign. But is it really, from a political matter, is it going to, from a political standpoint, is it going to matter? Is there a voter who's going to take umbrage at these remarks, get so offended, and then rush to the polls, who wasn't already going to the polls in the first place? Now, in terms of the distraction, the point I made at the beginning, you know, Harris would like everybody focused on her closing arguments to the extent that this kind of takes over the news cycle for the morning. That's not what they wanted. More proof of why Joe Biden was a candidate they were worried about having be at the top of the ticket. So it's not what you want, but I don't know in the end if this really. Also, by the way, if you want to get in an insult comparing contest with the top of the Republican ticket, that's not a conversation that Donald Trump will come out of well. So I think this is one of those things that gets covered in a campaign, but I'm not sure of the practical effect it's going to have on voters.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the current mental gymnastics that is happening from the mainstream liberal media and the White House in order to try to justify Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. They try to pretend as if that's not what he actually meant. That's definitely what he meant. That's definitely what he said. And they try to cover it up. And we know that everybody listening to what Joe Biden said knows that's what he meant to say. Like, for example, listen to the audible gasp from the audience of The View when Whoopi plays the clip of Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. Take a look.
President Biden got a lot of blowback over these particular comments about who's Madison Square at his rally, what went on. So the president, current president, said something and then everybody lost their minds. Take a look.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Now, he was quick to clarify that he was really referring to the hateful rhetoric as garbage. But it didn't stop our MAGA friends from seizing upon it. Pearl clutch!
Which is exactly what your audience just did there, Whoopi, when they heard the clip, right? Again, did you guys hear the audible gasp, right, when they heard what Joe Biden said? Because he meant it, okay? They felt it in their souls because Joe Biden said it from the soul, right? That's actually how he feels, okay? Everybody knows that's what he said. Now, before I get into the reactions from the media and Kamala Harris and others who have been confronted about Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage, I just want to say this. For the most part, Trump supporters are not pearl clutching. At least I'm not pearl clutching, okay? I personally don't really care that Joe Biden called us garbage because I already knew that that's what they think, right? I mean, I already knew. They literally spent weeks basically saying that we are Nazi supporters, okay? Or Nazi sympathizers, if not outright Nazis. So Joe Biden coming out and saying that, oh, well, Trump supporters are garbage. I mean, it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just deplorable garbage now, right? I'm team garbage, okay? So, you know, to me personally, I'm laughing about it because I just think that Joe Biden is doing a great job of seeking Kamala Harris's campaign. So I just want to make it clear. I'm not outraged. I don't think most Trump supporters are outraged by it. We already knew that this is what they think, okay? It's just hilarious to watch them try to clean up what Joe Biden said after spending the past 48 hours boohoo whining and crying about a comedian making a joke about Puerto Rico's trash problem, right? That is what I really want to focus on here, because there are some people in the media that are just coming out and saying, you know what, Biden might as well embrace it, right? There's no reason to try to clean it up or to apologize. You might as well just embrace what Biden said.
I'm of the mindset that if you say it, you might as well just embrace it. And I do think that that's a problem for Democrats.
We're going to ask our strategist over here in a second.
Shocking, that I would say that. No, but realistically, like, I do think if he said, listen, yeah, I do mean all those racist supporters of Donald Trump. Yeah, I do think that they're terrible. I think that people would look at the Democratic Party a little bit different. I think, look, I do think that the Democratic Party in general doesn't look like they are strong enough, and they will always back off of things. And I think that when Joe Biden backs off of saying what he really believes, I don't think that's a good look.
Honestly, low key, that's a respectable take. Like, real talk, that's respectable, because I would much rather them come out and say, yeah, that's exactly what we think, because we know that's what they think, rather than to gaslight me into believing that, oh no, that's actually not what Joe Biden said. Okay, you guys don't understand. There was an apostrophe S there at the end. Okay, that's not actually what he said. It's like, no. Well, now you are insulting my intelligence. Not only do I know that you think that I'm garbage, but you also think that I'm stupid. Okay, so you're continuing to insult me by pretending that you didn't say something that you said. Okay, either you apologize for it, or you just come out and just say, yeah, we said it. Okay, and you can be upset about it or whatever. Honestly, that would be much better than what the Democrats are doing now in order to justify Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage, which is to pretend that he didn't say that at all.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disturbed about the double standards you're applying on what you're saying. For example, you dismissed Joe Biden's comments about calling all of Trump's supporters garbage, and that's what he said.
He did not say that, caller. He did not. He did not. He said that the racism, the disgusting comments about Hispanics were objection. I read the quote too, sir. You're just wrong, and I know you want to believe that's what he said, but by the way, he's not running for president. The other guy is.
Mark, did you want to respond?
To call Trump a fascist, calling his supporters fascist. I'm not a fascist. I'm a freedom-loving Republican. And for you to say that Trump supporters are fascist, it's just wrong.
I didn't say Trump supporters are fascist. I think they may be supporting a fascist. Sir.
On the garbage comment, the transcript sent by the White House has it as possessive and not plural. The statement, the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters, apostrophe S. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything that we've been. Some debate over there since yesterday about whether it was plural or possessive, just to the caller's point of what he said.
Yeah, and I, as a conservative lawyer, I am a textualist, and you have to, part of the ruling way you examine a text is you look at the entire sentence. Okay, and the entire sentence makes sense that there is a possessive there. When we speak, we do not say apostrophe, although Donald Trump has shown that he doesn't know what an apostrophe is, by the way.
Yeah, so I find the mental gymnastics here from the Democrats and liberals trying to defend Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage, which he clearly did. I find it to be fascinating for various reasons. Okay, first and foremost, these are the same people that, again, were boohoo, whining, and crying for 48 hours straight about a joke from a comedian, not Trump, but from a comedian, okay, who's not running for president, by the way, right? The comedian is not running for president, which is something that they acknowledge when anybody brings up what Biden said, okay? Biden also said that Trump should be locked up and thrown in prison as well, too. He said that, too, okay? I mean, again, this is not the only comment that Biden has made recently that the media should be talking about, right? This is just the one they're talking about because, I mean, he said it so unequivocally that they can't ignore it. But it's amazing how the first thing they say is that, well, Biden's not running for president. Therefore, it doesn't matter because Biden's not running for president. But yet, the comedian who's also not running for president, his comments matter in that they're attached to Trump's comments. Although Trump didn't say it, Trump didn't make the joke. But again, the joke is supposed to matter. And people are supposed to vote based off a joke that a comedian made, but they're not supposed to vote based off comments that the sitting president of the United States made. Fascinating, right? Absolutely fascinating stuff, okay? Also on top of that, do you think that these people would jump through the hoops that they're jumping through right now to defend Trump if Trump said what Joe Biden said? That's what you have to ask yourself. I would ask any one of these people, George Conway, if Trump said what Biden said, verbatim, would you defend him? Would you defend it? Would you come out here and jump through all these hoops that you're jumping through right now to give Trump the benefit of the doubt? Because you didn't do that when Trump was talking about the economy in a bloodbath, right? Clearly, he was talking about the economy, but the media said, no, he's talking about actual violence when he wasn't, right? These are the same people who claim that Trump says that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country, when in context, he was talking about illegal immigrants and criminals that have been released from prisons in South America and all across the world, really, and led into this country. Again, it's amazing how that works. When Trump says something, context doesn't matter, right? You have to interpret it in the worst way possible. But when a Democrat says something that's out of bounds, oh, wait, no, context, right? He didn't actually say we should lock up Trump. He said we should lock up Trump politically, right? As if that means anything different. Like, what does that mean? What does that actually mean? Oh, don't worry about what it means. Just understand that he didn't actually really say what he said. Furthermore, I also love how these people are getting upset when Trump supporters point out the fact that, yeah, I mean, you guys have been calling us Nazis and fascists for the last, 2 or 3 weeks straight. So, it is what it is. And then they'll say, oh, no, we haven't been doing that. We haven't been calling you that. And it's like, well, you've been saying that we're supporting a fascist. We're supporting a Nazi. You call the New York City rally a Nazi rally. Trump supporters are attending the rally. So at the very least, you're saying that Trump supporters are supporting Nazis or they're Nazi sympathizers. Again, these are the word games they're playing here. Well, we didn't really call you a Nazi. We just said that you support Nazis. I mean, I'm just saying, realistically, what is the difference between a Nazi supporter and a Nazi? What's the difference? Right? These people, again, they're insulting our intelligence guys. That's what I'm more offended by. I'm more offended by that rather than them just coming out here and just saying with your chest what you actually feel, right? Say with your chest what you actually feel instead of gaslighting me by telling me a whole bunch of BS, trying to tell me that reality isn't real. Don't believe what I'm saying. Don't believe what I'm hearing. No, you don't understand. Joe Biden, he didn't call Trump supporters garbage. He just slipped up. He slipped up. And that's what it was.
But it's intellectually dishonest for his supporters to suddenly be offended by President Biden slip up, because I do believe it was a slip up, after all that their guy has said. He called all of America a garbage can. All of America.
Yeah, that's actually not what Trump said in context, which is something they don't understand unless a Democrat says something crazy. Then all of a sudden they understand context, okay? What Trump said was that these countries sending their illegals here to the United States are treating us like a garbage can, right? That is essentially what he said. But again, it's just hilarious. It's so funny to watch these individuals rationalize literally anything a Democrat says that's out of bounds in ways they would never do for Trump. Right? It's just hilarious how that works. Okay? Because, hey, me personally, maybe I'll be willing to give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt if they would do so with Trump. The fact that they never do so with Trump, they take things that Trump says clearly out of context and they blow it up into something that is not. They do this all the time. The fact they do that, yeah, that's why I'm not willing to give Joe Biden the benefit of the doubt, because they don't want to give us the benefit of the doubt. And that's what these people don't understand. This is what they don't get, right? So with that being said, Kamala Harris was confronted on this issue and what Joe Biden said, and she refused to apologize on behalf of Joe Biden or to apologize for what Joe Biden said, which according to the left and their logic, she should do so because they basically demanded that Trump apologize for a comedian's joke, right? So again, logically speaking, Kamala should be apologizing for what Joe Biden said, but she didn't. Also, Tim Walz was confronted on this as well too. in which he basically refuses to apologize. And essentially, they're just kind of doubling down on the gaslighting here. Take a look.
Type of leader I intend to be.
Have you spoken to President Biden since his comment last night about garbage?
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear, I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not. That is my responsibility, and that's the kind of work that I've done my entire career, and I take it very seriously.
Have you spoken to him about his comments and his decision?
He did call me last night, but this didn't come up.
Are you concerned about what impact this may have on voters, on the divisiveness of the election, and whether or not it's going to dissuade some people from supporting you because of your affiliation with the president and this administration?
I've been very clear with the American public. I respect the challenges that people face. I respect the fact that we all have so much more in common than what separates us.
I want to get your reaction to the president's comments, but I want to put it into a larger context of your recent comment comparing the Sunday Trump rally to a Nazi rally. And I would also throw in there Obama's bitter clingers, guns and religion comment from a while back, the deplorable line from Hillary Clinton's campaign, and the way that Democrats are seen by some voters as disrespecting them. And I have to ask, does that undercut this closing message of unity from your campaign?
No, certainly not. And for Tony, for me, I've represented rural areas. I've represented Democrats, Republicans, Independents. Same thing with the vice president. Look, you saw a presidential speech last night at the Ellipse that is the best of America, one that's talking about unifying us, one that's talking about bringing folks to the table, one that the American tradition of disagreeing and debating, but still doing it in a respectful manner. And I think there's the frustration we've seen since January 6th, the frustration with Donald Trump's rhetoric of division. It does fire passions. And I think President Biden was very clear that he's speaking about the rhetoric we heard at that. So it doesn't undermine it. People are hungry to come back together. They're hungry to find a unifying message. They're hungry for us to find solutions, whether it's prices or whether it's reproductive care. They want to see solutions.
Can you just address the president's comments yesterday referring to Trump's supporter as garbage? And I know he's tried to clarify that he was trying to talk about what the person said. But one, I guess I want to know, does he think less of Americans who support Trump than he does of those who do not? And two, why is he using that kind of rhetoric? How is that presidential?
So a couple of things. So just to clarify, he was not calling Trump supporters garbage, which is why he this is why he wanted to make sure that we put out a statement that clarified what he meant and what he was trying to say. And so just want to make that very clear for folks who are watching. And I just want to read that out to folks. So he was regarding to the comedian, and I quote, "I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at the rally don't reflect who we are as a nation." And to your question, your other question that you asked, no, he does not view Trump supporters or anybody who supports Trump as garbage. That is not what he views. The president has said this for more than 3 years now. He has said multiple times that he is a president for all. It doesn't matter if you live in a red state. It doesn't matter if you live in a blue state. He has said this himself. I have said it on his behalf.
Yeah, so I've said this before and I'll say it again. This idea that Democrats are putting out there, that they're the party of unity, that all of the problems of the country are going to go away, all the hate and division in this country is going to go away if you elect Democrats, was disproven after 2020, right? Joe Biden took power and the hate and division in this country has ratcheted up to a whole new level, right? We've never seen as much political violence in this country as we've seen over the last 3 to 4 years under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So if anybody thinks that voting for Kamala Harris is a vote for unity, is a vote for less chaos, less hateful rhetoric, less political violence, you're fooling yourself, okay? Because again, just look at the last 3 or 4 years. It hasn't went away. It's gotten worse because the source of it is coming from the Democrats, right? This started under Obama. All of this stuff started under Obama. It's not a coincidence. It started on Obama. When Trump got in office, Democrats ratcheted up to a whole new level because of their hatred for Trump, okay? So they were essentially pushing people to commit acts of violence, okay? They were inciting violence and chaos in the streets, the BLM riots, all this stuff incited by Democrats and their supporters. And then when Biden gets into office, it escalates even more because this is what they thrive based off of, right? The whole Democrat Party. Listen, the closing message of the Democrat Party, the closing message that they're putting out there to their supporters is that Trump is a fascist. He's Hitler. His supporters are Nazi sympathizers, if not outright Nazis themselves, okay? They're garbage, according to Joe Biden. And that women and minorities are being oppressed, right? And this is why you must vote for Kamala Harris, okay? That is the closing argument. It is simply based off the idea that the other is evil and that if they're elected, they're going to take away all your rights and freedoms. They're going to put you in internment camps. They're going to lock up journalists. Trump is going to assassinate his political opponents. Although, again, you know, look at what's happening right now in the country, okay? But anyways, yeah, this is the closing message. It's based off hate and division. That's all the Democrats got. That's all they got. So again, you know, I just find it fascinating here how, you know, these people are once again gaslighting, insulting the American people, trying to pretend that Joe Biden didn't say something that we all know that he said. And that to me is the biggest insult. It's not that he called Trump supporters garbage because we already knew that that's what they think about Trump supporters. It's the fact that they continue to pretend as if that's not what they believe. And then they gaslight us on what Joe Biden actually said as if we're dumb. That is the biggest insult. And I think that insult is actually what's going to be the biggest reason, or one of the biggest reasons why Kamala Harris loses this election is because of all the gaslighting that is taking place in this country via the media and Democrats over the past 3 to 4 years. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.